Nasa himpilan po natin ngayon, mga kaibigan, walang iba kung hindi si Congresswoman, Superwoman, Kimi Coamo. Ayan. Oh, Congresswoman Kimi, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger daw. Ha?
Hi, Corina.
Oh, hi. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to your televiewers.
Kasi para ka na rin pinapatay unti-unti, ano?
Oh, really? You just don't know how we feel.
Oo nga. How long? Okay, you've been at this for quite a long time. Nabibilang mo ba yung years na you've been fighting for RH?
I'm a neophyte congresswoman.
Oo.
And but we've been fighting for this from day one of the 15th Congress because from the very first State of the Nation address of our president, he already mentioned that RH, responsible parenthood, would be one of his priorities. So it's been 2 years.
Oo.
But what needs to be known is that this bill has been filed 17 years ago. So actually, we have really made some kind of how would I say it? After 17 years, for the first time, the bill has reached the period of amendments, which is really rare. It hasn't happened.
17 years.
Yes.
Oo.
So that's really good.
Okay.
That's the stage we're in now. We're in the period of amendments.
I think what's very important is the president is behind you, no?
Correct.
Nararamdaman nyo naman yon talaga na yung
Correct.
suporta niya para matuloy na yung RH bill na yan.
Napaka-importante po niyan.
Yes, okay. So ngayon, ayun na nga, yung himala dyan is natapos na yung sinasabi nilang 17 taon ng pagdidribble ng mga congressman na ayaw nilang pag-usapan ito. Debate lang sila ng debate ng debate. Binobola na ang tao. Kasi tapos na yung debate dyan. Diyos ko naman, hindi naman nababago ang laman. Ano?
Correct.
So now, nag-agree na, nagkasundo na tapusin na ang period of, what you call
amendments.
that? Now is the period of amendments.
Period of deliberations and debates have been ended.
Ayan. Yung period of deliberation, tapos na. Tapos na ang debate. Nandito na dapat tayo sa period of amendments.
Yes.
Historically, gaano katagal dapat ang period of amendments?
The period of amendments, actually, we can do that in 1 or 2 days. See? And then, right after the amendments are agreed upon, then we put it to a nominal vote. Okay? And this is exactly what the anti-RH group is trying to avoid. They're using their privilege hour and extending their privilege hour, because privilege hour is supposed to be only on Mondays, but now it's going on to Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's very difficult for the presiding officer to stop them from doing that.
Ayun.
Yes, it's very difficult. So that seems to be yung strategiya nila ngayon.
Okay.
Para hindi natin marating yung amendments proper at ipagbotohan. Kasi kung hindi naman talaga sila takot, dapat ipagboto na. Diba? Kung may numbers tayo at sinasabi nilang may numbers sila, dapat ipagboto na natin para malaman na.
Correct.
Magkaalaman na.
Kasi kung meron naman silang numbers, respetuhin mo rin naman kung ano ang outcome ng boto, di ba?
Siyempre.
So bakit nila okay, pag-usapan muna natin. So hindi pa natin ngayon malaman kung ano ba talaga ang panahon sa period of amendments because you can't seem to get there, di ba?
We can't seem to get there, but we are also trying to make our own moves. Like, although I don't want this to reach to this extent, because I would like to support the administration that needs to get our budget passed on time. You know, we're going to go on break sa September 19. So kailangan asikasuhin na natin ang RH bago man pumasok yung buwan ng September. Kasi yung budget is the most important job of Congress. So kailangan pagdating ng first week of September, which we don't have so many days left before the first week, umpisahan na natin yung budget. At the sooner we get it passed, the better. Because that's what the country needs. They need this budget passed so that all the programs can be put into place and put into play. Now, in between this time and that's what they're doing. See, they're blocking it. Then, what happens there is pag nagpi-privilege speech po sila, ang tagal-tagal na nila magsalita. So, yung mga ibang congressmen naboboard. Umaakyat na sa mga kwarto nila, doon na lang sila magtatrabaho.
Okay.
So, wala nang quorum.
Okay.
Yan ang talagang style nila na gusto nilang gawin.
Okay. So, sino-sino naman at itong mga ito?
My dear colleagues, that I will mention your names, but anyway, it's in the news every night.
It's
yes.
in the news every night.
You know, it's very interesting that you ask.
Pwede ko namang tanungin ng reporter namin.
Syempre. Well, I'll just say it anyway. They're fighting hard for what they believe in. So, unang-una, si Representative Roy Logoles na taga Parañaque.
Okay.
Tapos si Rufus Rodriguez from Cagayan de Oro.
Okay.
And of course, we have all the Cebu congressmen are against the RH bill. All. And we also have Amado Bagatsing from Manila. But Corina, kung pwede ko lang sabihin, nandito sa harap ko ang survey ng kanilang mga syudad. Nandito po sa harap ko. Okay? So, ang latest SWS survey sa Manila, 86% ang pro-RH.
Manila. Okay, nako! Mr. Bagatsing, pakinggan ang gusto ng bayan.
Liberal Party po, si Congressman Bagatsing.
Ayaw niyang hindi siya mapakiusapan ni Pinoy. Tapos?
Okay, next, one of the major, I would say, postes of the church, because this is really a battle with the church. Honestly, let's be honest about it. Parañaque, the SWS survey, the latest, 87% is pro-RH.
Wow!
Okay.
Naku, pinapanawagan po namin si Roy Logoles. Pakinggan ang inyong constituency sa Parañaque.
Cebu, I'm telling you, every single Cebu congressperson is against the RH bill. 88% ang pro-RH bill.
Wow! Naku, Sus Mariosep. So, kasama na dyan ang mga Garcia.
So, ang masakit nito, Corina, parang hindi nila rine-represent or hindi sila parang kinatawan ng kanilang constituents. The sad part about this is they are representing the cleric, the church hierarchy.
Yes.
I don't want to pick a fight with the church hierarchy, but please, it is clear that there should be a strong line between church and state. Nobody should cross over into the other turf. And, you know, it's very difficult to use the government's limited, limited finances or money or budget to fund projects to help people improve their lifestyles if we don't also give people the tools to be able to improve their lives. And that is why we are trying to pass the Responsible Parenthood Bill. Yes.
And ito naman ay hindi naman pilitan.
Wala.
Lahat po naman ito ay para mabigyan lang ng access, hindi ba? Ang lahat.
Yes. Actually, ang sinasabi kasi ng kabila, pro-abortion kami. Paano naman magiging constitutional ang bill namin? Nasa constitution ng Pilipinas na abortion is against the law. So we are not pro-abortion, number one. Number two, nobody is being forced to have 2 children. Katulad ng China, di ba? May 2-child policy sa China. Dito walang persahan. Kung gusto ng isang husband and wife ng isang mag-asawa na magkaroon ng 10 anak, okay lang yun. Walang problema. Kung gusto nilang magkaroon ng 10 anak, okay lang yun. Ang gusto ko lang sabihin, sa mga health centers natin, sa mga munisipyo, sa pinaka mahirap na munisipyo, yung mga pumupunta doon at humihingi ng tulong, ngayon ay mabibigyan ng tulong. We are also going to teach them the natural family planning method, which is what the church wants. And at the same time, pwede na sila mag-avail of contraceptives. And these contraceptives have been legalized and deemed safe by the Food and Drug Administration. So, kung ganun, anong kino-complain nila? Kasi nandun naman yan sa Mercury. Yung mga mayayaman, kayang-kaya nilang pumasok sa Mercury, bumili ng over-the-counter contraceptives, pero yung mga mahihirap, hindi nila kayang gawin yun. So yan ang gusto namin gawin, i-empower sila kung gusto nilang magplano ng pamilya para at least they can bring up their children with proper nutrition, with nurturing them with education as needed. And sorry
Go
if
ahead,
I'm speaking too much, Corina. I heard you talking about Secretary Robredo earlier. You know, he was one of the first mayors to put the reproductive health bill into action in Naga City when he sat as a mayor. So, and it has been, that could be serve as a perfect example or model, because you see that you've been to Naga and you've seen the difference. And that's a major tool that will help many Filipinos.
Kasi sabi nga, empowerment, ano? Si Secretary Robredo, si dating Mayor Robredo, naniniwala na kailangan may tangan-tangan na kapangyarihan din ang kahit pinakamaliliit
Of
na
course.
tao, ano? So, empower really
Yes.
the masses. Paano mo nga i-empower yung masa? Gusto lang nila ng condom, di pa nila alam kung saan sila kukuha. Or gusto nila ng kaalaman kung paano planuhin ang kanilang pamilya, hindi nila alam kung saan sila tatakbo.
Yes.
So, maganda talaga ang, every barangay pala in Naga has like a daycare center.
Yes.
A daycare center that has become a preschool, Montessori style, para yung mga babae ay makapagtrabaho at
yes.
mag-contribute sa family income.
Yes.
Napakaganda talaga ng mga programa doon.
Actually, I was a mayor for one term before I became a congresswoman in a very poor municipality, fourth class. And this is one misnomer about the RH bill, because yung mga sinasabi nila, kung kaya naman nilang gawin sa Naga City, bakit kailangan pa na may bill? Ito yung dahilan kung bakit kailangan may bill. Kasi yung mga munisipyo, which is 90% of the Philippines, na napakahirap, yung fourth class municipalities, hindi nila kaya bumili ng, let's say, the needed empowerment for women, which is the over the counter contraceptives. Hindi nila kaya mabigyan ng edukasyon ang mga bata at ang mga magulang at mga pamilya tungkol sa family planning. And there's a lot, their health centers are falling apart, Corina. Women are dying daily. They go to give birth in their homes with a manghihilot. So what we also need is to train midwives and to improve the health centers, just like what they did in Naga City.
So, kung ito'y maging batas, you mean magkakaroon ng pondo sa mga fourth class municipalities?
Opo, ganun na nga, Corina. Napaka-importante kasi magiging universal na ito. Maski na pro or anti yung mayor, ito'y isang batas na. So, kailangan isunod at itupad itong batas at they will fund the local government units, and these units will now be able to do what they all want to do, which is to help. Well, not all. That's why we have to make it into a law, because it cannot be based on the whim of who the mayor is at the moment. If the mayor wants to follow the priest, then he cannot do what he wants to do.
Okay.
So,
kasi nagpapadikta, no?
yes.
Pero hindi ba wala na namang Catholic vote?
There's no Catholic vote, pero yung sinasabi ng iba kong kasama sa Kongreso ay pinupulpito daw sila araw-araw. So, araw-araw yun. Walang tigil.
Naku, kasalanan na yan, Father, ha? Kasalanan na yan, ha?
And the sad part also is that a lot of my colleagues have given their word to their bishops. Even if privately, I can say this, but I won't mention names, they will tell me that they're pro-RH, but they won't go for it because they promised their bishops.
Ay, sus, kalokohan yan. Parang ano na yan parang unholy alliance between the church and the congressman at the expense of the constituency.
Correct.
Kasi ang titignan lang naman ng mga pare at titignan lang naman ng mga bishop at titignan lang naman ng mga congressman ay yung gusto ng constituency nila dahil sila'y halal lamang na kinatawan.
Exactly.
Ayan, ano ba kayo?
Exactly.
Oo, ang sarap silang idebate, ano? Round 1 pa lang, talo na sila.
Ang boss nila, yung mga bumoto sa kanila,
Kaya
hindi
nga.
yung clerics.
So,
Sila,
siguro kausapin natin, subukan natin kausapin ngayon si Roy Logoles.
Okay.
Net, nandiyan ka ba? Ayan. Subukan nating tawagan kasi kung merong SWS survey, 87% gusto ng RH bill. Bakit nandidribble si Roy Logoles ng Parañaque? Naku, baka hindi na kayo maboto ulit ha. Congressman Goles, malapit ng eleksyon. At si Amado Bagatsing ng Maynila, 84% ng iyong constituency gusto. Bakit ka nandidribble? Congressman Bagatsing, baka hindi ka na rin maboto ulit ha. At sa mga taga Cebu, nako, 88% ng inyong constituency gusto ng RH bill. Bakit kayo nandidribble? Nako, I need the names of the congressmen here. Ay, kailangan malaman ng tao yan.
Yes, I didn't bring the complete list, but I also would like to, I have here, part of the same survey, 60% of respondents who are aware of the RH bill will vote for candidates who support the measure.
Oh, ayan, 64% pala, Di pa yan accurate, baka meron pa yung di ba? So, what I'm saying is, eto na yung survey Unless meron silang hinahawakang ibang survey. Hindi ba? But this is a scientific method. So, maganda siguro makausap natin yung congressman galing Parañaque, Cagayan de Oro, Manila, mga taga Cebu, para alamin natin ano bang basehan ninyo. Ito ba ay para sa inyo? Kasi meron ding sarili mong paninindigan, But you cease to be that when you become a congressman. Kasi dapat, majority ng gusto ng constituency mo, mga boss. Baka na medyo kayo'y na nalilito sa definition of definition of terms, ano po ng inyong trabaho. Dapat yung gusto ng mayorya ng inyong constituency. Mamaya po, babalik tanawin po natin kung ano po yung nangyari dyan sa Kongreso noong itigil na ang debate tungkol sa RH Bill. Gayon din po ang ating mga kawing-kawing na balita mula sa Radyo Patrol. Sa pagbabalik po yan ng Rated Corina. Ayan, tanungin natin si Congresswoman Kimi, ano ba itong tungkol sa question sa constitutionality ng RH Bill?
Well, when you're asking a question whether it's constitutional or not, it's whether it's a law-abiding bill, and it is because for the FDA has approved already the sale of contraceptives in any drugstore. So there's nothing illegal about it. Mm-hmm. It's not an illegal drug. Mm-hmm. Abortion, we are against abortion because when you take contraceptives, conception does not occur. Mm-hmm. So contraceptives happens before conception. Mm-hmm. Abortion happens after conception, which we are against.
So it is constitutional.
I think those are the only things that are considered illegal. I mean, not illegal, are considered controversial at this point. So, other than that, I don't see anything wrong with
At hindi pwedeng pag-usapan yung tungkol sa constitutionality hanggang hindi pa ito nagiging batas.
Yes, kailangan ipasa muna.
Ipasa muna.
Oo, tapos kung gusto nilang idalhin sa Supreme Court, pwede nilang dalhin sa Korte Suprema at sila lang magdidesisyon ng pinal.
Ayun. Sorry. Gusto nila kasi lahat they're throwing the sink at you.
Yes, it's very difficult and it's very frustrating.
Oo nga, ayaan mo na pero mukhang patungo na tayo doon. Kasi yan ang gusto ng bayan. On a national scale, what are the numbers? Hindi ba more than 60% ba?
Yeah, it's at 75%.
75%?
Yes.
National.
Or it's even growing. That was in 75%.
Ayun. Naku, kung ito pala
here,
talaga.
Here, in Pulse Asia, this is Pulse Asia, not SWS, 93% of Filipinos considered it very important to have the ability to plan their family. So, and 82% of Filipinos believe government should teach couples about all methods of family planning.
Ay, importante yun. That's it. That's what it is.
Why are we not listening to the voices of our constituents? That's my question.
Ay, yung sinabi mo kanina, di ba? Ang pinapakinggan nila yung boses ng bishop o boses ng pare.
Exactly. Hindi naman dapat ganun.
But, as you said, the voice of the people is the voice of God.
Exactly. That's the way I feel.
And siguro sabi nung pare, people din ako
Alam
pero
mo,
isa ka
Corina,
lang.
napaka-interesting kasi itong Humanae Vitae, this is the law that the Pope, it's not a law but it's the encyclical passed by Pope Paul VI in the 60s. What he did was, he called for a commission to decide whether they to allow birth control methods or not. The majority report was to allow. These are bishops and theologians from all over the world. But he decided to veto it. So what happened, like many of those bishops that were part of that commission, the Humanae Vitae Commission, decided to go back to their countries. And one of them is the Catholic Bishops of Canada. And they issued their own statement that the church has no business meddling with the government, number one, and has no business meddling or going inside the bedroom of anybody. So they decided to allow the government to do what they think or they see fit to do.
Ayun.
So, tayo
Okay.
lang dito ang talagang napaka masunurin.
Oo nga.
I mean, I have nothing against my bishop because
Oo.
he himself talked to me, and from the start, klarong-klaro yung sinabi ko sa kanya na I will not budge and I will fight for this kasi ito yung talagang gusto ng aking mga constituency. So bilang kinatawan nila, talagang I will follow what they want me to do.
Right,
So,
right,
yes.
right. Oo, no? Kasi regardless of personal conviction, of course it helps na talagang nagkakapareho yung gusto mo bilang tao at yung gusto ng constituency mo.
Yes. Alam mo, when I was a mayor for 3 years, that's when I think, if you don't, I guess, when you walk in the footsteps of a marginalized family, then that's when you learn things that you never knew. So, it's very difficult for me to turn my back on these people, the marginalized in our society, because I see how much they're suffering. Sobra-sobra na ang paghihirap ng mga pamilyang Pilipino. Yeah. So,
Talagang malinaw na, parang sa dami ng taon na ito, pumasok na rin pala sa isipan ng mga tao kung ano ito, no? After 17 years of debate.
Yes.
And now, they're ready to accept it. And meron tayong Pangulo na sinusuportahan ito.
Yes, tama.
Palagay ko, it's a lonely and uphill battle para sa mga kumukontra pa. At yun na nga ang ginagawa nila. Nagmamagic na lang sila dyan sa loob ng Congress para hindi na lang mapunta doon sa para parang pinapatid lang nila yung mga naglalakad para na lang hindi makarating sa finish line. Ito po pakinggan po natin, balik tanawin po natin na ang report ni Jay Ruiz mula sa TV Patrol kung kailan tumigil yung debate tungkol sa RH Bill. Mula sa TV Patrol, Jay Ruiz.
Purinas pamamagitan ng Viva Voce o itong ayes and nays na botohan. Pinabura na ng mayorya sa Kamerang higit 1.5 taong pagdidebate sa House Bill 4244 o ang Reproductive Health Bill. Hindi na pinagpaliwanag ang mga mamabatas ng kanilang mga boto. Hindi rin binilang kung ilan ang pabor at ilan ang hindi pabor sa pagtigil ng debate para walang ma-single out na mambabatas. Bukas pa sana ang takdang pagboto ng Kamera, pero napaaga ito matapos makipagpulong sa Malacanang halos 200 kongresista. Ayon kay Majority Leader Neftali Gonzales, nagkaroon ng kasunduan sa pagitan ng pro and anti-RH Bill advocates na dumalo sa pulong na panahon na para pagbotohan kung ititigil na ang debate sa issue na humaba ng 1.5 taon. Pero sa halip na agad pagbotohan sa plenaryo ang motion kung ititigil na ang debate sa RH Bill, kinwestiyon pa ng mga anti-RH Bill kung bakit kailangan ngayong araw pagbotohan ang pagpapatigil ng debate sa 285 kongresista. 231 dumalo sa plenaryo, kabilang sina dating Pangulo at Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo at Congressman Manny Pacquiao na parehong tutol sa panukalang batas. Dumating din ang mga pro at anti-RH group sa loob at labas ng Kongreso para ipakita ang kanilang mga suporta sa kanilang mga paninindigan. Namahagi at namigay din ng mga sulat at imahe ni Mama Mary ang mga tauhan ni Archbishop Ramon Arguelles sa mga kongresista para pahabain pa ang debate.
We listen to the people. 82% of them are saying they need this national policy. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, bakit ho ngayon? Dahil lamang po nagpunta yung mga kasamahan natin sa Malacanang, ay biglang magbabago na po yung desisyon na binitiwan na po ng ating respectable Speaker. Wala na bang halaga sa atin yung binitiwang salita ni Speaker Belmonte na nirerespeto nating lahat?
Nakakatawa naman, Medyo parang comedy ang nangyayari dyan sa mababang kapulungan. Para sa akin, simple lang naman sa debating team, kumbaga, kung may judge dito, ay tapos na po ang boxing. Ang gusto po ng tao, ayon sa survey, ay ipasa ang RH bill. Nako naman. O sige ha, itong mga darating na araw, iisa-isahin po natin ang mga survey sa mga distrito ng mga congressman at congresswoman na ito. At papangalanan natin ang mga congressman at congresswoman na ayaw sumunod sa gusto ng kanilang constituency. Kasi kapag hindi natin gawin yon, parang nakakabola na sila hindi ba? So iisa-isahin po natin yan. Tayo po naman ay nagbibigay ng karampatang respeto sa opinyon ng simbahan. Sa opinyon ng bawat isang congressman at congresswoman na ayaw sa RH bill. Pero hindi yun ang issue Kaya po kayo nahalal sa inyong pwesto para maging kinatawan ng kagustuhan ng inyong mga boss. At ang inyong mga boss ay hindi po si Archbishop. Hindi po si Bishop, hindi po ang inyong mga pare. Ano po? Ang boss po ninyo, lalong hindi nyo boss ang inyong sarili. Boss po ninyo ang inyong constituency. Nasa linya po natin ngayon si Congressman Rodolfo Pong Biazon. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Kong.
Magandang umaga.
Corina, ayan.
Umaga po sa lahat.
Yes, kasama rin po natin si Congresswoman Kimi Coangco dito. And,
magandang umaga, Kimi.
Ayan.
Hi, good morning, Kong.
So, Congressman Biazon, ano ba talaga ang rules? Pwede bang gawin ng handful of congressmen or congresswomen ang pag-aantala ng pag-usad dito tungo sa period of amendments?
Pwede na yun sa aming alituntunin, na yung kasi, yung personal privileges, personal and collective privilege is top priority yan So, yun, sinusunod namin yung aming batas, yung aming alituntunin.
So you mean they can do that?
That is correct. Pero there is a limit to that. Pero ito can only be limited by a consensus. So, ibig sabihin yan, mag-uusap po sa mga liderato ng dalawang panig,
Okay.
Na tama na siguro yan. At ngayon, kung magkaroon ng agreement, ayun na masusunod. Kagaya nung tatapusin na sana namin yung debate, ako'y medyo nasiwa na dun sa debate na yan. Sapagkat itong RH bill, pinail ko nung 13th Congress, 14th Congress, pagdating ko rito, ipinail ko rin dito. 9 na taon na namin itong dinidebate. Kaya ang tanong ko, hanggang ngayon ba hindi pa natin naiintindihan ito? Ang dami-dami ng debate ito. Kaya botohan na natin ito.
Kaya, pero Congressman, parang parang ayaw nga ho nitong mga taong ito na matuloy ang botohan Yun ang tingin ko dito Tama po ba?
Correct. Yun ang aking tingin sapagkat they will deploy all, of course, within the rules, yung delaying tactics. Gagamitin yan dahil ayaw nilang maboto to, I mean to for it to be voted on with finality.
Ayun.
Kasi hindi rin sigurado sila na kung ano mangyayari rito. Alam mo, mahigit na 100 at isa dyan si Kimi ang nag-author niyan. Oo, mahigit na 100 ang author niyan at saka co-authors.
Tsaka Congressman, ayon sa survey, sa bawat isa sa mga distrito ng mga tumututol na congressman na ito, gusto ng mga tao ng constituency nila na magkaroon ng RH law.
Tama yan. 82%, as much as 82%. In some places, it even breaks the 90%.
Kaya nga po ano po ba yon? Talagang ganun yun. Sa debate po ninyo, hindi pwedeng sabihin na, kumpanyero, Congressman Goles, hindi ba itong survey ng iyong constituency? So what are you doing? Hindi pwede yon?
Mahirap naman yun.
Baka personalan ng dating.
That would not be, hindi naman appropriate siguro yung Pero yung tanong ko, sino ba ang dapat nating pakinggan dito? Sa ating pagboto natin, sino dapat nating pakinggan? Yung mga clergy pa? Yung clergy, divided yan
Yes.
On the issue.
Are they?
Yung pakikinggan ba natin yung political leaders natin o yung ating constituents. Ang sabi ng ating constituents, 82% nagsasabi, kailangan namin yan. I listen to the constituents, not to the priest, not to my political leaders even.
Yan na nga eh. Sabi ko nga, kahit nga ayaw ng presidente yan eh. Pero pag sinabi ng constituency mo, itong gusto namin, you are just a representative of their voice.
Tama yan. Pero alam mo itong issue ng sinasabi nila, we are not yet prepared, we are not yet politically, we are not yet mature. Ang tanong ko, whose maturity are we talking about? Are we talking about the maturity of the church? Hindi. Sapagkat dogmatic ang arguments nila dyan eh. Are we looking for the maturity of our people? Hindi eh. Sabi ng tao natin eh. Kailangan natin yan. So ang sa aking tingin, are we waiting for the political maturity of our legislators?
Ayun.
Yan ang sinasabi ko. Kailan magiging mature yan?
Oo.
Siguro kung makikita nila, marirealize nila na yung election blocks, vote blocks, so to speak, should not be the one that we should listen to. Ang dapat pakinggan natin, yung constituents.
Kaya nga po. Pero pag ito pong ginagawang delaying tactics ng ilan sa inyong mga kasamahan ngayon dyan, so basing it on the rules, how do you now move forward? Meron nga pong mga stumbling block dyan.
Well, we try to do it without, expecting a destruction of the procedures. So I think there is now ongoing talks among the leaders of the House na paano po natin itong tatapusin. Kasi maliwanag na at siguro dapat makita rin ng ating mga constituents sino ba itong harang ng ganitong kailangan namin.
Yes,
and then take them to a reckoning point next year. Ayaw makinig sa amin pala ito eh. Bakit namin padadala dyan?
So gaano katagal pa kaya ho ito? I mean, kailan po kayo mawawalan ng pasensya?
Alam mo, I listen to the constituents and do what they want within institutional processes. Unfortunately, democratic system says that we have to adapt institutional processes. Kasama na dyan itong privilege speech kahit na walang kinalaman doon sa o pag-a-absent, pagkabubutuhan na yan, nagdebatihan, uma-absent.
Yes.
O di kaya magdi-deliver ng pagkahaba-habang privilege speech para lamang yun.
So, ano pong maasahan natin this week? Mamaya po, ano po ang inyong prediction?
I do not know. Siguro palagay ko maaaring hindi pa naayos yung agreement. At baka walang ang problema niya, sigurado, yung quorum ngayon is going to be very difficult to achieve.
So, ganun na naman po mamaya.
Ganun na naman tayo.
Ayun. Tapos, pagka talagang medyo nagkakapikunan na, tsaka po mag-uusap ang mga liderato para sabihin na ano ba ito, ganyan. Ayun.
Kaya ano ko doon sinasabing, let us wait until we are mature. Ang tanong ko, kaninong maturity ang inaantay natin?
So, importante rin pala yung maturity dito ni Speaker Belmonte. Siya dapat ang pinaka-mature sa lahat.
Hindi ako bumabanggit ng pangalan, ha?
Siya yung liderato ng Congress,
Speaker Belmonte ay na kailangang sumunod din sa mga sa alituntunin namin
Yes.
Ang isa doon sa alituntunin namin ay yung pagbigyan, pag sinabing may tumayo dyan ay rise on the question of personal and collective privilege. Lahat ang gagawin namin tapos na. Papayagan na magsalita ng kung ano-ano yung magsasalita dyan.
Ayan, okay.
Alituntunin namin yan. So, halos walang magagawa si Speaker Belmonte dyan unless magkaroon ng agreement yung mga factional leadership ng House.
Ayun. Nako. Ito ba sino ba ito? Si Mitos Magsaysay ba ito? Sino ba ito? Baka impossible dream po ang
Nakikita naman ng madla doon sa mga debate. Kung minsan nako-cover ng media naman yan. At napoproject din siya tao. Kasi kailangan din makita ng tao yan eh. Inform para pagdating sa next year or sa tuwing merong eleksyon ay they are casting their ballots informed.
Ayan, importante. Kaya sabi ko nga kay Ma'am Kimi dito, iisa-isahin ko po talaga yung mga pangalan ng mga pro and anti. O kaya yung talagang mga bumabara. Pagkatapos, importante hong malaman ng tao yan kung ano po yung ginagawa ng kanilang mga kinatawan.
Halimbawa, sa tuwing naka-agenda yung debate para dyan sa bill na yan, at tatayo ng kung ano-ano privilege speech ang i-deliver, siguro dapat malaman din ng tao yan.
Ayun na nga po, opo. Ipapaalam ko po sa kanila, wag po kayong mag-alala. Alright, thank you very much, Congressman Biazon. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Ako ipapalik doon sa hearing.
Sige po, opo. Good luck. Sige
thank
po.
you.
Alright, Congressman Rodolfo Pong Biazon. Tagal ko nang hindi nakakausap si Congressman Biazon. Alright, Kimi. So, what can you add to that?
Whenever they use their privilege, they rise on a question of personal and collective privilege, no? Now, that should only last for 10 minutes, okay? But it can go on for hours. And the sad part about this is they're using their privilege rights to delay. And do you know that for every day we delay, we spend 50 million pesos in the House of Representatives per day?
Ha?
We spend that much per day.
Why? Bakit umaabot ng ganon?
Well, that's what it costs. So,
Ay, magandang storya.
Yes.
Oo.
That's really a disservice to our nation.
Sa bawat
We could be
araw,
using that to save so many people's lives.
Yes, sa bawat araw na nagde-delay dyan sa Kongreso, sa usaping ito.
What I'm saying is that if you get the budget of per year of the Congress, of the House of Representatives, it's 50 million pesos a day per session. Okay? So, for every crazy delay that goes on, like they'll decide to talk about
a crazy privilege speech.
So then it's like, how much money have we wasted? That's why today, this afternoon, I will raise a question of personal and collective privilege, because in the rule book it says these privileges, you can raise questions that affect the duties, the conduct, the rights, the dignity, the integrity, or reputation of the House and of its members. I mean, what kind of reputation or what kind of signals are we sending to the general public when we do this in the House of Representatives?
Kita mo, hindi alam ng tao yan, Congresswoman, na 50 million pesos.
Actually, it's really a disservice to our nation.
Wow.
To quote Father Joaquin Bernas, those were his exact words. It's a disservice to our nation to keep delaying and to block this.
Dapat magbotohan na kayo kung ganon.
That's what we want. That's what we want. But apparently, they don't want. I don't know why.
Nako ako I know why. Hindi pa nga daw sila mature. Ayan. Anyway, sige, wag ka na lang mag-comment, Congresswoman. Baka harangin ka ng sibat dyan pagpasok mo. Ako na lang ang gagawa nun, ha? Okay, thank you very much kay Congresswoman Kimi Coangco from the 5th District of Pangasinan. At bukas po, sisikapin po natin na banggitin lahat ng mga distrito, lahat ng mga congresswoman at congressman na tumataliwas sa survey sa kagustuhan ng kanilang constituency. Yun lang naman ang pakay natin. Whether you are pro or against, kailangan po sumasabay po kayo sa kumpas ng inyong mga sinasakop. Parang ang gusto nilang sayaw ay cha-cha, kayo sumasayaw kayo ng hip-hop. Ganon ang nangyayari. Okay. Thank you very much, Congresswoman Kimi Coangco. Magbabalik po ang Rated Corina sa ilang saglit po lamang.
This is crazy.